Some of the interesting events in history that you will be shocked to hear for the first time are as follows. 1. Roman Emperor Commodus forcing disabled individuals to fight to the death in the Colosseum. During the reign of Roman Emperor Commodus, his peculiar and cruel tendencies have been a topic of historical discussion. Particularly noteworthy is his practice of gathering disabled individuals from the empire and forcing them to fight to the death in the Colosseum. A spectacle that gained attention in ancient Rome. Commodus' reign saw the popularity of gladiator games as a form of entertainment, but his sadistic inclinations intensified the brutality of these contests. The emperor planned to mass gather disabled individuals and have them fight to the death in the Colosseum. This practice stirred significant public outrage in ancient Roman society. The decision to make disabled individuals fight to the death might have been used as a propaganda tool to reinforce Commodus's grip on power. Nevertheless, this cruel practice triggered substantial public backlash, contributing to further discontent with Commodus's rule. Commodus's government is remembered in history for its ruthless treatment of disabled individuals and the savage events in the Colosseum. These events represent one of the tumultuous periods in the history of the Roman Empire, while also serving as a tragic example of the emperor's personal tyranny and cruelty. 2. Cigarette companies advertising in the early 1900s that doctors recommended their products. The early 20th century marked a fascinating period between the medical community and cigarette industry due to the lack of information about the health hazards of smoking. During this time, cigarette companies orchestrated advertising campaigns, claiming that doctors recommended their products. In the early 20th century, the tobacco industry employed various strategies to market tobacco products. Particularly, cigarette companies adopted an approach that used doctors to deny and sometimes undersay the adverse effects of smoking in advertising campaigns. Advertisements were often adorned with phrases like "smoking brings throat comfort" or "recommended by doctors," presenting cigarettes to the public as a kind of health remedy. These campaigns aimed to portray tobacco products as soothing, energizing, and even invigorating, instilling a misleading sense of confidence in consumers. Images and references of doctors were frequently used to imply endorsement by health authorities. Some ads went as far as claiming that smoking calmed the nervous system and even treated certain ailments, attempting to position tobacco products as a medical solution. However, as scientific research advanced and awareness of health issues increased over time, the serious health problems caused by smoking became evident. The credibility of such advertising campaigns was significantly undermined as the truth about the health risks associated with smoking emerged. Today, with a wealth of knowledge about the health risks of smoking and regulatory measures in place, doctor-endorsed cigarette advertisements from that era are remembered as a relic of a time when the tobacco industry neglected public health and engaged in deceptive marketing. 3. The dramatic funeral of General Antonio López de Santa Anna and the loss of his leg. In the mid-19th century, Mexico underwent a turbulent period marked by independence struggles, civil wars, and foreign interventions. General Antonio López de Santa Anna, a prominent military leader in the country, emerged as a figure who left a lasting impact on Mexican history. One of the turning points in Santa Anna's life occurred during the Mexican-American War. In a conflict in Veracruz in 1847, General Santa Anna lost his leg. However, this event did not shake the characteristic pride of the general. On the contrary, Santa Anna added a dramatic touch to the incident by organizing an extraordinary funeral for his lost leg. Santa Anna had his amputated leg carried in a coffin, bidding farewell to it as if it were a fallen hero. The funeral was adorned with military honors, overflowing with salutes and respects. The leg lost by the general was laid to rest with a splendor reminiscent of ceremonies organized for war heroes. This event lingered in memory as an example of Santa Anna's ostentatious and theatrical personality. However, over time, Santa Anna's political career witnessed ups and downs, and this incident was remembered merely as a detail within the complexities of his tumultuous rule. The grandiose funeral organized by Santa Anna for his lost leg is not only a dramatic tale of a military leader in Mexican history, but also a symbolic memory illustrating the intricacies of that era and how figures constructed their personal images. 4. Mad Peter's gruesome act. After executing his wife and her lover, known as Mad Peter, Peter the Great, who ruled the Russian throne for many years, was a sadistic and unstable leader, and his life and actions have been subject to various speculations and stories throughout history. By the year 1706, Peter the Great, also known as Mad Peter, ruled the Russian throne, maintaining secrecy within his palace. Recognized for his shocking sadistic nature and oppressive rule, Peter's government was known for its wild and ruthless nature. One day, a rumor disturbing his peace within the palace ignited deep anger in Peter's mind. Provocative claims of his wife's infidelity and involvement with a lover stirred a storm in Peter's psyche. Losing control, the leader ordered government officials to execute his wife and her alleged lover. However, in Peter's twisted mind, things took an even stranger turn thereafter. To immortalize this horrifying moment, he placed the severed heads of his wife and her lover in a jar filled with alcohol. In the most secret chamber of his palace, he hid this jar in his wife's former room, ensuring that only a select few were aware of this historical atrocity. These dark secrets in Peter's palace sparked fear and horror among the public. The events were covered up, and this gruesome jar became a hidden secret among the mysteries of Russia under Mad Peter's leadership. 5. Crafting prosthetics from the teeth of fallen soldiers in the Middle Ages. The medieval era's dark skies reflected the savage and merciless nature of war. In the aftermath of battles, the bodies of fallen soldiers turned into tragic scenes abandoned on the field, torn apart by ruthless predators like wolves and birds. Amidst these horrifying sights, a group of warriors began contemplating the only salvageable remains of their deceased comrades, their teeth. The horrors of war led these bodies to deviate from humanity, pushing survivors toward mysterious and dark practices. A group of craftsmen started gathering the teeth of deceased soldiers to create prosthetics. These ancient warriors resorted to this peculiar practice to honor the memories of their fallen friends and feel their strength within themselves. In a secret workshop, the teeth of fallen soldiers were carefully cleaned, shaped, and then transformed into simple prosthetics, supported by wood or metal materials. These dentures allowed the warriors to replace the teeth they lost on the battlefield and keep their secrets concealed. However, this ancient tradition slowly faded away as a consequence of the terrible effects of war and the dark atmosphere. Those warriors who wore the prosthetics turned this strange practice into a hidden secret while confronting the ghosts of the past. 6. The extraordinary sacrificial ritual of 20,000 and plus. Human lives in the Aztec temple in 1487. The extraordinary mass sacrifice rituals that took place in the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan in 1487 are recorded as one of the most horrifying rituals in the history of humanity. These rituals reflected the cultural and religious beliefs of that era, showcasing the Aztecs as a highly organized and complex civilization. In 1487, at the heart of Central America, in the capital of the Aztec Empire known today as Mexico City, an extraordinary ritual unfolded at the towering summit of the Aztecs' Grand Temple, Templo Mayor. This ritual involved thousands of participants and was dedicated to hundreds of gods. According to the Aztec belief system, gods required human sacrifices to ensure the sunrise and sunset, fertilize the agricultural produce, and secure the continuity of civilization. However, in the special ceremony of 1487, Aztec priests and leaders decided to perform traditional rituals on an unprecedented scale. Under the leadership of Aztec Emperor Tizoc, thousands of captured individuals, sacrificial victims brought from outside the city, and even some Aztec nobles were chosen to be presented on the massive stone sacrificial tables in the temple. On these elevated tables, hearts were ritually extracted using special sacrificial knives and offered to the gods. This bloody ritual did not confine itself to a single day. It continued for several days. The sky was stained with blood, and hundreds of thousands witnessed this violent ceremony in fear and horror. However, this grand sacrifice for the continuity of the Aztec Empire reflects the complexity of Aztec religious beliefs and the compelling rituals of this civilization. And finally, 7. Only 240 out of the past 3,000 years have been spent in peace. The past 3,000 years represent an adventure in the annals of human history. Throughout this period, civilizations have risen and fallen, kingdoms have been established, empires have crumbled, and people have scripted their own stories. However, within this extensive history, the years dominated by peace have been rather limited. For various reasons, epochs dominated by conflicts, wars, and challenges have occurred in the course of human history. Elements such as territory, power, beliefs, resources, and ideologies have triggered conflicts among nations. Diplomacy and peace efforts have occasionally succeeded, but generally, history reveals that humanity has often found itself in a state of war and contention. Especially in the last 3,000 years, the number of years characterized by peace has been quite restricted. Diplomatic efforts and peace agreements have often been short-lived, and historical upheavals, wars, and conflicts have persisted throughout this period. Many civilizations have been destroyed by major wars, while others have risen to take their place. Despite this tumultuous past, the lessons drawn from the conflicts in human history have underscored the value of peace. The peace process, along with diplomatic and global cooperation efforts, keeps the hopes of humanity alive for a more stable future. Future generations, learning from the painful lessons of history, may have the opportunity to chart a roadmap that emphasizes the importance of peace. Thank you for listening to the historical events, each one more interesting than the other.